My fiancé cheated. How I moved on. My narrative begins with the revelation of adultery, which is a common occurrence. M27, engaged for 6 months, fiancé is behaving distant, disappearing at inconvenient times, and is uncommon or excused. I discover the writings. She'd been having relations with a man who was married and had children. I photographed each and every one of them. This jerk was teaching my fiancé on how to have extramarital relationships. He's been doing it on and off for a number of years. It's as if it's accepted. And certainly, that is mentioned in the writings. Here's how I was able to achieve success. This occurred in the late spring. This summer's wedding was set to take place. There was no way this was going to happen, and there was absolutely no hesitancy. I'd had enough. I work at a large corporation. There are several job vacancies available right now. I went on an interview and was offered a job in a city where I had always wanted to reside. I gave my landlord written notice. My fiancé shared a room with me. My name is on the lease in its entirety. Unlawful detainer was filed. I have a new phone plan as well as a new phone number. The intention was to call off the relationship on a Thursday. This past Friday was my final day at the apartment. The movers have been booked. Excellent sense of timing. She had arranged a ladies' weekend vacation for the following weekend. I've arranged for a sheriff to come to my house for 4 hours. It cost me $200 to do so. In my county, we may employ people who are not on the clock. What happened on Thursday was that she sent screenshots to her parents and the wife of the AP. It was a good day for both of them. Her parents were out a lot of money since they had to cancel the wedding at the last minute. I had a horrible feeling, not really. I disconnected my previous cell phone service. I had a meeting with the deputy and explained the problem. Documents from the courtroom were shown. The guy was very cool. She had returned home from work. I informed her that we were finished. She needed to gather her belongings and depart. There is no explanation. It was just that I wasn't ready to get married at the time. She was, without a doubt, a complete disaster. It was pushed along by the deputy. It took a few hours. After a while, the tears turned to wrath. That evening, I barred her from any communication. I was on the road by the afternoon of Friday. It's been over 3 months since the last update. The new work, the new surroundings, and meeting new people are all exciting. I've been in NC with the majority of people. Friends of ours have informed me that she is not doing well. The people with whom I maintain touch are now aware of the situation. Her parents reached out to my parents and expressed their regret. They inquired about my personal details, which my father refused to provide. He did advise me to contact them. I'm allowed to do so out of courtesy. Her sister, whom I had forgotten to ban on Facebook, had messaged me. She said that she understood why, but that she thought I might have handled things better. Update. Hello, everyone. I received a lot of queries on how I was able to handle the breakup with my ex-boyfriend. I much appreciate everyone's thoughts and encouragement. I'm not the best writer in the world. I left my previous post history up as a reference. Please keep in mind that I caught her cheating long before I left the country. There's no denying that the days immediately after discovery were, and continue to be, a haze. I couldn't eat, couldn't focus at work, and couldn't sleep because of this illness. Was scarcely able to function. Believe me when I say that I truly fought with not addressing her. I believe the turning point occurred one evening when she was running late to get home. Of course, I was quite sure she was with him at the time. Seeing her simply go about her business as usual, being kind, asking about me, and so on, while knowing the entire time that it was all a ruse, was like a smack in the face. I'm not sure how to put it, but she went from being my one and only to being not if she were the last woman on the planet. I could tell I wasn't feeling well, and I think she could tell as well. There were a few instances when she was really loving and worried, such as when she asked, "Are you okay?" or "Is anything wrong?" It's quite difficult to pretend to be okay when you're plainly not. Furthermore, she was completely content with the lack of contact. Of course, I was not the one who started it. She didn't either, thank God. That also contributed to my decision-making process. During the real separation and divorce, it was really nerve-wracking. The officer was quite helpful. I told him just enough of my experience to elicit some compassion from him. At the very least, it seemed to be such. He instructed me to say as little as possible and assured me that he would move the situation ahead. At this time, I was pretty well finished with the project. Instead, I was more concerned with just getting the situation under control. The officer was quite empathetic and nice to her, yet he was firm as well as compassionate. I'm sure he's dealt with tougher situations. Without a question, he was aware of what he was doing. I spent the most of my time on the balcony, pretending to play games with my phone facing the other way. Throughout the conversation, the officer was speaking to her in hushed tones that I could barely hear. Anyway, once again, thank you. Story 2. Caught my 23 male GF22 female of 5 years cheating on me with my friend. I'll make every effort to keep this as brief as possible. I've known this girl, who I'll refer to as Jen, since we were children. For a few years, they shared a home. I've had so many wonderful times with her, and have toured the globe with her. She was always indulged and lavished with gifts and attention by her family. She was introduced to many of the better things in life as a result of this. I was certain that she was the one. She made the decision to relocate across the nation for graduate school at the beginning of the new year. She was dissatisfied with her life in our hometown. Because my business can be done from anywhere, and because I had acquaintances in her chosen destination city, I made the decision to relocate to her location. I say that, but the major reason I relocated was because I was completely smitten with this particular girl. Can't handle the concept of being far, distance, with someone. In addition to our childhood friendship, Jen and I have been together since we were teenagers. We experienced our fair share of toxic moments, including several events that we later regretted as we got older as a married couple. We were always able to work through our differences, but her father couldn't seem to get over some of the things that happened in our past. He never liked me or forgave me after a specific episode in which I was nasty to him. He never liked me or forgave me. As a consequence, Dad would not allow us to live together in this new city. This was years ago. Jen is supported financially by him, and he has secured her a comfortable downtown apartment. I'm well off, and I've secured a rental property around 20 minutes away. The first 5-6 months in this new place were incredible for the two of us. We had a lot more fun than we did in our hometown. Every night, we'd come over to my apartment or hers to stay. I met new people, ate delicious cuisine, and created a slew of incredible new experiences on my trip. I've been fascinated with her for a long time, but it seemed like a new flame had been ignited in our relationship. Everything was fantastic, even the overall contentment was high. It was a breath of fresh air. I had to go back to my hometown last month to take care of some business. I asked Jen if she would be willing to babysit my dog, who is technically her dog, and she, of course, agreed. She dropped me off at the airport, and I flew out on my own. As the week progressed, she began to be a little icy through text. I didn't take it too seriously at the time. When I returned home, she had not responded to any of my messages or phone calls. When she eventually showed up, she just left my dog off in my driveway and didn't say anything more about it. She said that she will return later. Her response was a text message in which she said that she had been thinking a lot. Doesn't know if she wants to be in a relationship anymore, needs time and space to think. In the back of my head, I knew I was missing something. She had never acted like this for no reason. Fast forward a couple days, when she finally did answer me, she apologized. We met up. I took her to multiple $400+ dinners, took her shopping, bought her expensive flowers, all to put a smile on her face and remind her how much she means to me. She said she was still thinking about things, but I felt like we were in a good place. Fast forward a few more days, and we had started sleeping over with each other again. I went through her phone because I knew in my gut something wasn't right for her to have done all this. Sure enough, she had been texting a friend of ours who I willingly introduced her to, calling him Beeve, saying she wants to suck in him. There was even a selfie pic of them with their tongues down each other's throats. They also were making fun of me. Jen was screenshotting my messages begging for her attention and sending them to him. I woke her up and confronted her. She was hysterical, crying, saying how badly she is up. How I'm the only thing that matters in all she's ever cared about. Locked myself in my bedroom and practically cried myself to sleep. She never left to go home, slept on my couch all night. She claims it happened 3 times. The first time when I was out of town, then twice more when I returned. Apparently once while she was ignoring me, and then once in between the nice dinners and shopping trips. I truly feel like a clown. Need advice badly. Don't really have friends I could turn to, and not close with my parents. Jen was my best and only friend really, but this whole situation makes me so sick to my stomach.